Page 142, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem, Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Mi L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teitchem L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good to be together. Ethan, thank you for bringing such a big crowd to our Friday night service. It's so wonderful to see so many here to celebrate with the Levy family as Ethan's called to Torah as a bar mitzvah this Shabbat, and to be together. I know that it's hard to think back. Since our last Shabbat, we had Shavuot, of course. We also had another difficult week in the Jewish world, and I think that the best antidote that we have to some of the things happening in the news is to just lean into our Judaism, into our practices, our rituals, our community, and so to be together, it does fill me up, and I hope for all of you and all of us together it will as well. So in honor of the simcha of Ethan's bar mitzvah, I want to invite Sandy and Karen Levy to come and join us for the lighting of the Shabbos candles. If you'll come on up. There is a reading here on the center podium down below in English before we light the candles.
Yeah. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher וקידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. We'll begin our Kabalat Shabbat service with Psalm 95 on page 130. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena. L'Adonai. Naria. Letzurishenu. Nekadma fanav. Betodah. From the bottom. Ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 az yeranenu kol atzei ya'ar. Az yeranenu kol atzei ya'ar ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 az yeranenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yeranenu kol atzei ya'ar ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 ya'alo sadai vechol asher bo ya'alo sadai. Ay 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 ay. We'll turn to page 134. Zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai v'chinor, v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai v'chinor, v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zameru. Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. Page 138. Kol echad odili Verse 3. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitei mitoch hafecha rav lachshevet v'mekavacha ve'lo yachamol aleichem la olecha dodi likrat kala nei Shabbat nekavela olecha dodi likrat kala nei Shabbat nekavela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hivaorech kumiori, uri uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alaich nigla, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekavela, olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekavela.
We'll rise together and face the entrance as we greet the Sabbath bride.
Boi v'shalom, ateret v'alam, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Amazing cry. Olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekavela. Olecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekavela.
Remain standing as we turn forward to page 263. And we want to invite our bar mitzvah Ethan to come join us on the bima for this next part of our service.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברכרותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך, וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתענן, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן מעלמה, ואמרו, אמן.
Baruch et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Please be seated. On page 265, Ethan will lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim.
Ta Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Bechochma poteach she'arim uvit vunach meshune itim. Uma chalif et hazmanim. Sader et hakohavim. Bore tehem barakia kertzano. Bore yom v'layla golel or mipnei hoshech. Vehoshech mipnei or. Avir yom umevi laila. Avdil ben yom uven laila. Adonai savot shemo. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Alenu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim.
Amen.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Amha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Yukimu mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochbeinu uvkumeinu. נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתה אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, בשיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם זאת ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Amen. Page 270, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Page 272, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ים בדאי שבת שבת, ים בדאי שבת שבת, ים בדאי שבת שבת, שבת שבת שלום. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש ים בדבדאי שבת שבת ים בדבדאי שבת שבת ים בדבדאי שבת 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 shalom.
We'll rise together now for the Amidah as we begin on page 273.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha, ufi agid tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagibor ve'Hanorah, Ha'elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, V'zdocher Hasteirot v'imahot, u'mevi Gula livnei vneihem, L'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashir u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'ezrat Torah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayei metim atarav lahashia, Morid hatal, Mehokel hayim behesed, Mehayei metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishnei afar, Michamocha b'gvurot, Umido melach, Melech memi, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mehayei hametim.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Ethan Yasher Koach, wonderful job. We'll hear more from you later tonight and, of course, tomorrow. But for now, we're going to continue with this next part of our service on page 279, Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, ve'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam me'ava tekabel. Tehile ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael lamecha, el karov lechol korav, v'nei el avadecha v'choneinu, shefach ruchacha. Alenu, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים, ברוך אתה, אדוני, המחזיר שכינתו לציון, לציון.
Come to the next part of our service. It's our prayer of gratitude, of hoda'ah. And there's a teaching in the Talmud, the rabbis say that a Jew is supposed to say 100 blessings every day. That if we don't say 100 blessings every day, that we haven't fulfilled our obligation of gratitude and of blessing the moments that make the mundane into sacred. I think that sometimes we do better than that, but oftentimes we fall short. It's easy to just keep rushing through all of the details and the routine of every day that sometimes we forget to stop and just pause and acknowledge the blessings that are around us. So let's do that for a moment. We'll just take a pause and call into our hearts and our minds those things for which we are feeling grateful this Shabbat. And then we'll join together 4 lines from the bottom on page 280.
ועל ניסך שבכל יום, ערב הבוקר וצהריים, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך, הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך.
A prayer for peace in our world is on page 282, Shalom Rav.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Take a few moments now for our own silent prayer.
On page 285. יהיו לרצון ימי ויון ליבי Repeat after me. Adonai,
Adonai,
Tzuri,
Tzuri,
Adonai, Tzuri v'go'ali. Adonai,
Adonai,
Tzuri,
Tzuri,
Adonai, Tzuri v'go'ali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see.
We'll turn in our siddur now to page 371. In a moment, we'll join the middle of that page in our words of our Mishaberach for healing as we think of all of those in our community, our congregation who are ill and in need of healing. We are especially thinking this Shabbat of Elizabeth Friedman, Joan Gales Howitt, Margaret Stewart, David Stewart, Raphael Ben Sara, Chana Bat Meir Avraham Becherel, Ken Morrison, Wendy Seelig, Vince Antonio, Avraham Ben Avraham, Terrence Lebinsky, Penina Razel, Barry Reback, Yossi Shemesh, Yosefa Bat Chava Umordechai, Rosa Tessler Mabe, Sonia Ratke, Maury Dozer, Sherry Fiedler, Virginia Edwards, Natalie Wormelli, Claire Columbia, Carla Zivit, Janet Gelb, David Shlomo Gorney. I invite you, if there are other people in your lives you're thinking of for healing, if you'd like to stand and share their names, you may do so.
Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This week, we also had the news that two of the hostages who died on October 7th and whose bodies were brought into captivity were brought home. We're grateful for that, but still 56 hostages remain in Gaza, and as we do every time we gather in prayer, we join together our voices, hoping that they will come home soon, that they will be embraced by their family and our people. we'll join together in this prayer of Alenu screens. It's also on the front of your program. Alenu kol beit Yisrael, Alenu kol beit Yisrael, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה ומייפל לעונה ומשיבון לגאולה שתה בגלה ובזמן קריב. אחינו כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. Shabbat Shalom. Great to be together. I want to just direct everyone's attention to our program. I have some announcements I want to share. There's a lot happening here at the shul. Some of you, I know, are very familiar with some of these announcements, and others, especially if you are visiting, I hope that you'll consider yourself invited to most of them as well. So first of all, as those who come regularly know, the World Zionist Congress is upon us now. Our Canadian election just started on Thursday, and we have a window right now of 10 days between now and the 15th of June. All of Canadian Jews who are over 18, so sorry you guys, you don't get to vote yet, but anyone who is Jewish over 18 and is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident is invited and encouraged to vote. It is a very, very important election that is held by Jews from all around the world to basically help to organize and decide on the direction and budgets of the non-governmental agencies in Israel. The JNF, the Jewish Agency, are the two largest of them, and a lot of money and impact is at stake. We are really asking and encouraging everyone from Temple Sholom and beyond, you don't have to be a Temple Sholom member to vote, to please vote for Arts of Canada, which is our Canadian Reform Zionist organization. It does amazing work, and we did have great news out of the US election yesterday. The results finally came out. Took a very long time, but they came out, and ARTSA, the American ARTSA, got the most votes of all of the 22 slates in the U.S. election. So that was very impressive. That being said, the balance of kind of those American delegates show that things are actually a bit closer if we kind of combine all of the groups together. And so our Canadian vote really can make a big difference. And so we want you to vote, vote your values. There are signs around the shul. If you're on our congregation's email list, you've been getting emails. Social media is full of posts and videos and fun things. So if you have questions, I'm happy to talk to you after during the Oneg Shabbat more about it. Okay, back to Vancouver. Our sisterhood has its AGM on Sunday, this coming Sunday, as well as a release party for the Sarah's Kitchen cookbook. This is a cookbook of recipes by our beloved Sarah Chiachi of blessed memory, who died just a few months ago, and it's going to be wonderful. So that's going to be at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Our congregational AGM is taking place on Tuesday, this coming week at 7 p.m. Okay. You can come in person, that's always the best, but we also do have access by Zoom. If you'd like to join us by Zoom, you may. Members in good standing, if you have multiple adults in your household, if you want to vote separately, you each need your own device. So that's one thing to look ahead to. Also, next week, we are very pleased to be hosting, in partnership with Allied Voices for Israel, Rawan Osman, who is did the film Tragic Awakening. She is a Syrian Lebanese activist dedicated to advancing peace and fostering dialogue between the Arab world and Israel. Really, really interesting speaker. It will be at 7 p.m. here on Thursday. You do have to purchase tickets, so that is online. It's summer, which means we get to have fun family Shabbat in the park and Shabbat at the beach. You'll hear more about the Shabbat at the beach dates for July and August, but we do have our first Shabbat at the park at Gray's Park in your neighborhood. Ethan, we'll see you there. Okay. My neighborhood too. That will be on next Friday night, the 13th at 5:30 p.m. Bring your own picnic dinner, and we'll have a wonderful family Shabbat service with Annette and myself, so please join us for that. Our 20s and 30s are going to a cold plunge and sauna. Apparently this is the big thing right now. So that will be on the 22nd. Our Shishim, Shalom Shishim Seniors Group has their next lunch and learn on the 24th with a photojournalist, Noam Bedain, who's is an Israeli living in Vancouver, speaking about life in the Dead Sea. Sounds cool. And Cantor Cohen is going to be restarting her tea times with Cantor Cohen this summer. Most of them are, okay, a few spots available. Can they sign up online? You can sign up online or call the office. I think that's all. Anything else? Okay. So when I was growing up, a very important part of my summers was going to a wilderness area in northern Minnesota. I grew up in Minneapolis. This wilderness is called the Boundary Waters. Oh, yeah, Andrea, she's from Minnesota too, okay. So if you don't know the Boundary Waters, you might know the Canadian equivalent in Western Ontario. There's a Canadian side of the park called Quetico Provincial Park. It's not far from Thunder Bay, if that's your neck of the woods. So the Boundary Waters itself, it's over 1 million square acres of primitive landscape, and over 20% of its area is lakes. It's one of the most beautiful and pristine places I've ever been. There's no motorized boats that are permitted, and you actually can go a few lakes in from the boundary where there actually are motorized boats allowed. You can go in and you can just take your water bottle and dip it in the lake and drink right out of it. Now, when Greg, my husband, and I were engaged, this was about 20 years ago, I invited Greg to join me and my dad and my brother and my now sister-in-law for a canoe trip in the Boundary Waters. Greg, he grew up camping, but he had never done a big canoe trip. But he was keen to try it. And I explained to him that we would be traveling from lake to lake to lake, and that we would have to portage all of our equipment through the forests between the lakes. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "What about the canoes?" I said, "Yeah, the canoes too." He said, "Don't worry. There are pads where you place them on your shoulders. And once you get the hang of balancing them, it's not that bad." He was very skeptical. But we made it. We had a 6-day canoe trip. It was great. At the end, we felt very accomplished, and Greg loved telling people, he still loves telling people this to this day, how we carried canoes on our heads. Now, this week's Torah portion, Naso, by the way, contains the longest chapter in the whole Torah, 89 verses. It's in this chapter of Naso that we hear about how the chieftains of Israel, the heads of the tribes, came to Moses on the day that the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was finished. And each one of these chieftains, starting, actually the first one was the famous Nachshon. You guys remember Nachshon from religious school? Yeah. Nachshon ben Aminadav from the tribe of Judah. But each one of these brought an extremely useful offering to give in the service of this portable tabernacle that would have to be carried around in the wilderness for a very long time. Now, the chieftains, they didn't just schlep the stuff on their shoulders and hand it off to the Levites. They actually brought, each of them, 6 heavy carts and 12 oxen to pull them. The carts were presented to the Levites for their use in transporting all of the tabernacle and its accoutrement. Now, there were different families of the Levites. There were the Gershonites. They were responsible for the curtains and the hangings and the ropes, and the Merarites, who were responsible for the posts and the crossbars and the tent pegs and so on. But the Kohatites, the third group of the Levites, they didn't get any oxen or carts because they carried the most sacred objects. Instead, they carried them on their shoulders. The Ark of the Covenant, which our tradition says contained both the whole tablets of the Ten Commandments and the shattered ones, remember that Moses broke on the ground, the menorah, the table, and the vessels, all of these were carried directly on the shoulders of the men of the tribe of Kahat. Now, there's a really beautiful Hasidic teaching that I want to share with you tonight. It comes from the Sfat Emet, the 20th century Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter, who compares what they were carrying in our Torah portion to a later time when the Israelites also carried pieces of the tabernacle, but this time not to schlep around the wilderness, but to actually bring it up to Jerusalem in the book of 1 Samuel. But this time, who carried the stuff? Cows. Cows. The verse from Samuel is, the cows went straight along the way, vayisharna. The cows in question were carrying the Ark of the Covenant on their backs. Now, the Sfat Emet, this Hasidic rabbi, he follows this teaching and actually does a bit of wordplay, where instead of saying that the cows went straight, vayisharna, that it is vayisharu, that they sang. That they sang. In other words, what really happened was that the cows sang as they went. This is teaching from the Zohar that it was the ark that was actually on their backs that enabled them to sing. The Sfat Emet continues, it's same thing was true of the Levites, the Kohatites, that one family who carried the stuff on their shoulders. It was the fact that they carried it on their shoulders that gave them the power to lift their voices in song. And this is true also of every person who serves God. True service fills a person with light and joy. True worship consists of Torah and mitzvot. These, of their own accord, fill a person's mouth with song and exultation. Rabbi Art Green, a more modern and Hasidic rabbi, he adds that the religious life is not meant to be a weighty burden, but one that helps us to feel the lightness and joy of knowing the holy presence. The Levite who carries the ark on his shoulders is also one who sings. It's a great message, I think. Life in God's service is a life of happiness and fulfillment. Like those who were able to carry those items on their shoulders, the service of the holy should fill us with joy. So joyful, maybe even, that we can't help but break into song. I really love this reading of the task of this one family, the Kohatites. It's not that they were extra burdened by having to carry the holy implements on their own shoulders, but rather their service was a blessing. It was their very service which allowed them to sing. We should all be so lucky as to throw our whole selves into this type of energy. Some things, yes, can be easier if they're done by machines or speedboat or having someone carry stuff for you. But when we do the work on our own shoulders, if we truly do it with joy, sometimes we start to sing. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, I'll invite everyone to turn back in your siddur to page 586. We'll rise together for Alenu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסן ארץ, ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מגנו וסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Come now to the Mourner's Kiddush, a reading regarding memory as we prepare to call into our hearts those loved ones who are no longer with us, on page 592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kiddush, and I'll share the names of those whom we remember this Shabbat. And I invite you, as I read the name of your loved one, if you are here to remember them, to please stand as you honor their memory. We are in Shloshim for Samuel Wayne Bobroff, Yaron Lishinsky, Joyce Lichtman, Sarah Milgram, and Matt Panar. We mark yahrzeit this week of Sam Aaron, Fega Bezprasvani, Chaim Brudny, Rivka Brudny, Florence Cowling, Benjamin Crystal, Perry Sheldon Davids, Fanny Dworkin, Egon Eisenberg, Susan Everall, Harold Feyerman, Ruth Fraser, Leonard Fratkin, Max Fugman, Alan Gervis, Al Hirsch, Samuel Hyman, Ernest James, Sarah Kadekel, Julius Curson, Shirley Levine, Michael Livni, Shirley Nerman, Ingrid O'Connor, Cornelia Hahn Oberlander, Hannah Radman, Janet Dale Reback, Erwin Rivelis, Ron Rodberg, Vera Rosen, Rosalind Schwartz, Milton Schulman, Leah Silverman, Clara Silverman, Batya Singer, Eric Starren, Albert Steiner, Karl Tausig, Abram Tubenschluck, Leo Vines, Robert Vogel, Elizabeth Victoria Zacharias, Shirley Kornblum Zaks, Molly Zeidman, Irene Zimbler. There are others who have come to say Kaddish. If you would rise and share the name of your loved one at this time. We stand together as one congregation beside all those who mourn and invite mourners and those who choose to join in these words. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huya se shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories always be a blessing. Amen. We're going to remain standing. We want to invite Ethan to come join Cantor Cohen over here to lead Kiddush and Hamotzi. After our closing song, we hope that you'll all stay and join for the lovely Oneg Shabbat, sponsored by Marty and Talia. Thank you very much for that, and Mazel Tov on this Simcha.
Vayhi vayhi voker, yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz, behotzevam, vayhal Elohim bayom hashvi, melachto asher asa, vayishpot bayom hashvi, mikol melachto asher asa, vayavarach Elohim et yom hashvi, vaykadesh oto, Ki vo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. Wait. Keep going. You got it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'rotzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikrai kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon. Yichaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Now you can drink. L'chaim. And then we're going to say Motzi together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Okay, we'll conclude with Adon Olam, page 625. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra Leit Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Imloch Nora Adon Olam, Ve'hu Hayam, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh B'tifarach Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra Le'nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.